Entertainment Tonight, the most watched entertainment news program in the world.
Michael Jackson. If you think you've seen it all, think again.
The lost song, the plastic surgery, the health scares, and embarrassing moments.
If we go out together and a bunch of girls start following me, let's hear what you say to them to make them go away.
Plus, the rare interview from when he was just a teenager.
Well, sometimes Randy just goes in my closet and just takes my stuff out.
Michael, the romantic.
To find the right person and to go off somewhere for a lifetime.
And what first wife Lisa Marie Presley has to say.
How bad was it when you guys finally said this isn't going to work?
It was like DEFCON 2.
Michael rushed to the hospital, his skin disorder, and what his mom told us about his ever-changing face.
He's had his nose done several times.
Michael in trouble.
Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
The allegations, the lawsuits, and the controversial video where Michael fights back.
On the road with Michael for 30 years of hits. Backstage, behind the scenes, the rare footage you didn't see on the network specials.
Michael Jackson is making headlines again. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Steiner.
And I'm Jan Carl. Just when you thought you knew everything about Michael, E.T. has uncovered rare footage and interviews with the superstar that shed new light on his amazing life. It was 1971. 13-year-old Michael and his brothers were on top of the world. The Jackson 5 had already notched 4 #1 hits, including this one, The Love You Save. Rolling Stone magazine's Anthony DeCurtis remembers that while all of the brothers clearly had talent, it was Michael who stood out.
Michael, from the very start, was a superstar. You know, on stage with the Jackson 5, you just couldn't take your eyes off Michael, and he was a delight.
A year later, Michael made an appearance on The Dating Game, reruns of which can still be seen on the Game Show Network.
He's the lead singer and the youngest member of the Jackson 5. He loves sketching and drawing, playing basketball and candy and bubble gum. Please join me in a special dating game welcome for a fine young man, Michael Jackson.
He opened the show with Rockin' Robin from his first solo album. And then sat down to question his 3 potential dates.
Number 1. Whenever I go out, girls are always following me. If we go out together and a bunch of girls start following me, let's hear what you say to them to make them go away.
Get away from him. He's mine, not yours.
So who did he choose?
Number 1.
Number 1.
Before he could remember, Michael was a star. Legendary LA DJ Charlie Tuna remembers when Michael dropped by his studio for a visit.
He came over just all by himself. No bodyguards, no entourage or anything else. He was a teenager, about 15, 16 years old. He was just one of these kids where, typical teenager, giggled a lot during the interview. I asked him one time, I said, what would you be doing if you couldn't be a pop star? And he said, I think I'd be running track.
But the price of fame was high. Michael missed out on the joys of a normal childhood. He and his brothers were driven hard to succeed by their father. Allegations surfaced later that Joseph Jackson beat his children, with Michael receiving the brunt of his abuse.
Michael was in a very funny situation because on the one hand, he was an abused child. On the other hand, he was a superstar, so that in a sense, you know, Joseph could beat Michael as much as he wanted, but his whole livelihood was dependent on Michael.
Michael would end up selling over 100 million albums as a member of the Jackson 5. In 1989, E.T. was with Michael as he returned to his 6th grade elementary school, one of the few places in his life he was able to just be a kid.
He was a beautiful child, very sensitive, kind. I was not hip enough to really know what he was involved in at the time. We must all never forget that the children are our future, and without them, mankind would become extinct.
A new auditorium was unveiled that day in Michael's honor. problems that would plague him later in life, his days spent with the Jackson 5 made an unforgettable mark on rock and roll history.
Now, Mark, believe it or not, before they called themselves the Jackson 5, an early name for the group was Ripples and Waves plus Michael.
Can't imagine why they changed that. Well, in 1994, Michael shocked the world when he married the daughter of Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley. Now, some thought it was more of a business partnership than a marriage, but Lisa Marie told me that, at least in the beginning, the love was real.
We're settling the rumors that you didn't marry Michael for the career. Why did you marry Michael then?
I keep answering that. It doesn't seem to get anywhere, so I fell in love with him.
There was no subject that was off limits when I sat down with Lisa Marie several weeks ago. She was promoting her long-awaited first album, To Whom It May Concern. And for years, there had been tabloid speculation that Elvis's daughter had hooked up with Michael to get her singing career off the ground.
I think it was once I got with Michael, I sort of started to get this rap of that I was doing things for some reason. That I was marrying him for a record deal, that I was a wannabe pop star. I wanted him to help me with the album. I wanted all these things, and if anybody knew me at all, they knew. And the people that do know that, I don't do that. I have no fronts for anything. I genuinely went into that for my own personal reasons. I had, for the record, no interest in recording or doing a record when I was married to Michael. At the end of the relationship, when it started to really go down, I started writing again.
Right.
So.
As a result of?
Yeah, that's sort of how I was getting myself through that.
How bad was it when you guys finally said this isn't going to work?
It was like DEFCON 2. You know, in terms of the camps turning. You know, it was like this, it was bad. It was very stressful.
Lisa Marie and Michael had known each other for years. That friendship turned to love. And though there was much speculation, Lisa Marie says the couple did indeed have a sexual relationship. But the union was not to last. A little less than 2 years after they tied the knot, the couple had separated and had filed for divorce.
I got caught up in his world and his life.
What about the idea of him?
Probably the idea of him. Right. Probably some delusional idea that we could save the world together and we could be, you know, we were similar, compatible. It was not somebody that was going to be squashed by me, by my celebrity or my garbage that comes with me.
As to Lisa Marie divulging details of their relationship, Michael's reps issued this statement, quote, Michael Jackson wishes Lisa Marie all the best in the world. However, as to comment on anything to do with their marriage, as a gentleman, Michael prefers not to respond.
When you read that or you heard that, what was your reaction?
I think, you know, what I think about that is I think he did sometimes talk about it. I mean, he's done interviews where he didn't want me to talk about it.
Debbie Rowe, Michael's second ex-wife and mother to 2 of his children, had been tight-lipped about her ex until Martin Bashir's recent documentary. Debbie felt the show painted an unfair portrait and stepped in to defend her former spouse on Michael's own TV counterattack. The two became acquainted when Debbie was a nurse for Michael's dermatologist. They married in late 1996. She was reportedly 6 months pregnant at the time of the wedding. The couple filed for divorce in October of 1999.
Coming up next, Michael's famous friends.